late night shifts at gas stations, or just kicking back at home on an unfortunate day, robbers can strike anywhere, anytime. But it doesn't always go their way. Let's dive into some wild stories of robbers who dared to mess with the wrong people in America. Robbers smashed. A peaceful drive turns chaotic when a car in front suddenly stops and 4 people jump out, blocking the road and charging toward the dashcam car. But the driver isn't having it. Instead of panicking, he hits the gas and speeds off. Rescued by biker. While cruising along, a biker spots a thief swiping a phone and decides to take matters into his own hands. He speeds up, catches the thief, and knocks him right off his bike, reclaiming the stolen phone. Realizing he's been outsmarted, the thief ditches his bike and runs for it. Our biker hero then finds the phone's owner, a relieved aunt, and hands it back. Joyride ended. In a bold move, these robbers crash their black car into a silver SUV, trapping it between their vehicle and a parked car. They quickly overpower the driver and steal the SUV, speeding off as if they've made a clean getaway. But their victory is short-lived. Before long, the police catch up with them, bringing their joyride to an abrupt end. Car left by robbers. A group of robbers in a black car tries to steal a vehicle from a man who's not giving up without a fight. Despite their attempts to overpower him, the car owner stands his ground, refusing to let them get away with it. Realizing their plan is falling apart, the frustrated thieves give up, jump back into their car, and speed off. 3 strikes and out. This homeowner had robbers try 3 times, and each time they learned that his place wasn't easy to pick. First, a couple of guys in a U-Haul tried to steal his motorbike. They were halfway through when the owner, wearing nothing but his underwear and holding a gun, burst out. The robbers took off fast, leaving the bike behind. The next time, thieves tried to steal the catalytic converter. The homeowner came out swinging a baseball bat at their car windows. They sped off like their car was on fire. Finally, another group tried to grab the bike, but it was chained up. The owner came out again, caught them in the act, and slammed the door. The thieves left behind some broken windows and a lesson learned. Hollywood. A thief stole a bicycle from behind a bar late at night. So many guys decided to pull off a plan straight out of a Hollywood action flick with a dash of army tactics. They set up the perfect bait and started staking out the area. Sure enough, the next day, their target returns. The thief finds himself surrounded from all sides, and a flurry of paintballs teaches him a lesson he won't forget anytime soon. Clerks' karate skills. If anyone's thinking about robbing a gas station, you might want to reconsider after hearing about Aaron Jacobs. Typically, Aaron's just helping customers at the gas station, but today, he had an unexpected visitor. 2 guys came in, one asking for beer and getting too close for comfort. Next thing Aaron knows, the guy's behind him with a 12-inch knife. Here's where it gets interesting. Aaron isn't just any clerk. He's a former Marine combat instructor and a black belt in karate with over 25 years of experience. In no time, Aaron disarms the robber, puts him in an armbar, and slams him face first into a rack. Pen versus knife. A thief with a knife tried to scare a shopkeeper, but the shopkeeper stayed calm and picked up a pen. Even when the thief slammed the knife on the counter, the shopkeeper didn't flinch. Acting like he was giving in, the shopkeeper went to the back and came out with a stool. He used it as a shield and charged at the thief. After a quick scuffle, the thief decided it was time to run. Sometimes a pen and a stool are all it takes to handle a bad situation. Driver outsmarts carjackers. Here, we see a car taking a turn when suddenly a man steps in front of it, attempting to stop it. However, the driver quickly assesses the situation and swerves to the side, avoiding the man. Bear spray. This manager was closing up a cannabis store in Washington, still rattled from a robbery a few days ago. He wasn't expecting trouble so soon, but noticed suspicious activity on the cameras. And just like that, it was déjà vu. A gang of bandits back to claim the day's loot. While they're busy ransacking the place, they leave the manager alone. Sensing an opportunity, the manager grabs bear spray and looks for the robber's eyes. Maybe they hadn't fully recovered from the last robbery, but they learned a new lesson on handling crooks. Senior boxer. A mugger decided to target a 77-year-old man at an ATM, thinking he'd have an easy time. But this senior citizen wasn't about to back down. The mugger grabbed him, demanding cash. But surprisingly, the old man fought back. He even squared up like a vintage boxer, fists at the ready. Realizing he'd bitten off more than he could chew, the mugger quickly fled. Break and break. Carjackers spotted a young woman alone, filling her tank, and thought they had found an easy target. But they picked the wrong woman to mess with. When one of the carjackers got into her car, she jumped onto the hood, refusing to let him take it. The guy kept slamming the brakes to get her off, but she held tight. After a few tries, he gave up and bolted, leaving the car in gear. Now, with the girl still on the hood, the unmanned car started rolling into traffic, but she quickly reacted, stopping it while the would-be thief slinked away. Clark wins. A guy in a blue hoodie strolls into a convenience store, acting all casual, but then he pulls out a knife and demands cash. The store clerk, however, is completely unfazed. Instead of panicking, she reaches for an even bigger knife from behind the counter, making his blade look like a butter knife. Realizing he's no match for this, the robber bolts for the door. Shoplifter. After shoplifting, this woman thought she could outrun cop cars when they asked her to stop. She did manage to make the cops chase her around a parking lot, but then, out of nowhere, a lady came running behind her and delivered a perfect tackle, taking her down. The woman was a former cop who preferred to keep her identity under wraps. Even as a senior citizen, she's still taking down the bad guys. Firefighter versus robber. Have you ever seen an off-duty firefighter turn a convenience store robbery into an action movie scene? Here's how Daniel Gasky did it. While picking up a quick snack at the Oasis food store, a 19-year-old burst in, brandishing a massive hunting knife and demanding cash from the cashier. Daniel didn't hesitate. He quickly sized up the situation and tackled the robber in just 7 seconds with expert precision. Robbers locked in. Two guys walk into a cell phone store, clearly uninterested in shopping. They've got one thing on their minds, a quick score. But things take a hilarious turn when the cashier, thinking on his feet, dashes outside and locks the door behind him, trapping the would-be robbers inside. Their big bad plan suddenly falls apart, and they're left scrambling. With no way out, and the crowd outside growing by the minute, these guys go from tough criminals to panicked clowns, trying everything they can to escape their self-made prison. One even tries to use a stick to break free, and what was supposed to be a smooth heist has turned into the most embarrassing moment of their lives. Woman's brave move. A thief tries to steal some perfume from a family-owned shop, but the businesswoman in charge isn't having it. As he makes a run for it, she spots him, and leaps into action. She tackles him right in the aisle and grabs the stolen perfume, all while her parents look on in awe. The thief tries to wriggle free and snatch more stuff, but she shoves him towards the door. Her fierce scream and firm stance are enough to send him fleeing for good. Bottle and lock. The CCTV footage starts with two masked robbers storming into a shop. One's brandishing a knife, looking tough, while the other pretends to be super compliant. But here's where it gets wild. The shopkeeper isn't about to roll over. He grabs a bottle, like it's his secret weapon, and charges at the knife-wielding crook. The real twist? He then sprints outside, locks the robbers in, and leaves them stuck. The thief tries to force the door open, but the shopkeeper and a passerby are holding it shut. So much for that grand escape plan. Now they're just trapped and clueless. Taste of your own medicine. In this dashcam footage, two bikers roll up on a guy standing outside his car, trying to intimidate him with a knife. They wave it around, acting like they'll poke him, but the guy doesn't even blink. Instead of backing off, he stands firm, refusing to be scared. More able. This guy was terrorizing the cashier, demanding money, when someone wheeled in to prove that disability is just a mindset. He puts the robber in a chokehold, wrestles him to the ground, and lets others take over once he's done his part. It's a shame no one helped him back into his wheelchair. But when it comes to taking down bad guys, this guy was the most able-bodied person in the room. Anything can be a weapon. Have they ever seen pickles used as a weapon? These robbers sure did. They were in the middle of a jewelry store heist when the owner returned early. Instead of freaking out, he grabbed a bag of pickles and started throwing them. Let's just say he's having a very sour day, thanks to the shopkeeper's pickle power. Chair attack. At a Mexican restaurant in Arizona, a knife-wielding visitor wasn't there for the food. He was there for a robbery. One employee made sure the customers evacuated, while another confronted the robber. The robber ran out of the employee-only area, but then decided to toss the cash register off the counter and grab the money. Just as he bent down, a customer sneaked up from behind with a chair and knocked him down. Everyone else jumped in, turning the robbery into a beat-down party. Thieves blocked. The car is driving smoothly behind another vehicle when suddenly a white car appears out of nowhere and blocks the road. Before the thief can even step out and make his move, the quick-thinking driver slams the door shut and floors it, speeding away. Good Samaritan. Our next robber must think he's in a real-life GTA game. He starts by mugging a woman, snatching her belongings, and even gets a kick from a Good Samaritan. But he's not done yet, so he tries to carjack a guy who's just filling up his gas tank. Before he can drive off, the car's owner hangs onto the driver's side door, while another Good Samaritan jumps in an attempt to stop the crime. The owner isn't about to let the thief get away with his car, leading to a wild scuffle. The vehicle makes rounds on the road and sidewalk before crashing, turning the chase into a foot pursuit. Staged accident backfires. In this dashcam video, things take a bizarre turn. A woman suddenly throws herself at the car, acting like she's been hit. Right on cue, a guy rushes over, pretending to be outraged like, "How could you?" But the driver isn't fooled for a second. Realizing it's all a setup to rob the car, they hit the gas and speed away. Damage the ride. During the overnight shift at a gas station in Alabama, a customer bought a banana and returned with a knife. The clerk pulled out his machete and locked the door. The robber tried to break the door, and after some effort, he succeeded. The clerk stepped outside and started smashing the windows of the getaway car while the female accomplice attacked him. The first robber returned to the store to grab the cash, but the clerk was focused on damaging the car to make it easier for the cops to recognize. The robber returned to the car with the cash and managed to fend off the clerk to escape with the accomplice, but with a broken window and cracked windshield, and it was only a matter of time before the police caught up with them and sent them behind bars. Karate instructors. A guy was just getting back into his car when a group of carjackers pulled up and snatched his keys. But these criminals couldn't pick a worse location because a karate school was right across the street, with 2 teachers witnessing the whole thing unfold. Armed with long metal pipes, these good Samaritans rushed over to the robber's car and started smashing it up. Carjackers. A woman was traveling through a secluded part of Oakland when a car unexpectedly stopped in front of her. She had no idea what was going on until 2 armed men got out and ran toward her car. She freaked out, but managed to stay calm enough to hit the gas and squeeze through a narrow gap, escaping the carjacking. Dubai. A burglar casually sneaks into a house and is greeted by a big dog. He starts petting the dog, which is suspicious but not aggressive. He treats the intruder like any other guest. But when the homeowner spots the guy and screams, "Dubai," the Great Dane knows this visitor isn't welcome. The dog immediately bites the guy in the rear and then goes for his face, barely missing it. Now, that's a perfect friendly dog, but ready for action when it counts. Beauty store scuffle. This woman thought she could walk out of a beauty store without paying, but she attacked him when the owner confronted her. And oh boy, the owner didn't hold back. The owner tackled her before she could make her way out of the store. Rollover. Sometimes you don't need to pick the wrong people to make a fool of yourself. Just ask these thieves who struck a pizza shop at 3 a.m. They noticed the security camera, but thought they could outsmart it by rolling around on the floor to avoid detection. The Great Getaway. A guy grabs a package and sprints toward his car, thinking he's pulled off the perfect crime. But as he's about to escape, he spots the homeowner charging after him. Freaking out, he drops the package like it's on fire and races to his car. Door-kicking disaster. A guy shows up at a house with some papers, pretending to be a maintenance worker. But the Texan homeowner isn't buying it and asks him what he's doing without opening the door. The fake worker moves on to another door. Things go sideways when the imposter pulls out a gun and starts kicking the door, trying to break in. Luckily, the homeowner grabs his weapon and fires through the door, scaring the robbers off. Lesson learned: don't let strangers into your home without checking them out first. Caught in act. This clip shows a woman trying to swipe a package from someone's doorstep, only to get called out by a sharp-eyed neighbor. Thinking fast, she pretends it's her aunt's house and heads to the door, acting like she's just being helpful. When the homeowner answers, she hands over the package, claiming a neighbor was worried it might get stolen. The homeowner thanks her, and she walks back to her car. Martial arts mayhem. Have you ever seen a bank robbery turn into a martial arts movie? 4 robbers entered a bank, ready to join the vault and grab some cash. While they were focused on their job, a guard casually came down from upstairs. One of the robbers tried to kick him from behind, but the guard wasn't just any guard, he was a martial arts pro. He took on each robber individually, using his skills to teach them a hard lesson. By the end, the robbers were on the ground, realizing they picked the wrong bank to mess with. Failed awkwardly. This guy thought he had it all figured out, casually grabbing packages while standing in full view of a security camera. But when a voice from the camera calls him out, he freezes, totally caught off guard. Instead of making a quick excuse, he just tries to walk away with the package like nothing happened. But then, the voice tells him to put it back. Awkward escape. A woman tries to swipe a package, thinking she's being sneaky. She casually puts it in her car and sits down, feeling pretty proud of herself, until she realizes someone's watching her. Caught off guard, she quickly hops out of the car, grabs the package, and awkwardly walks back to the house, pretending she's just returning it. Butcher knife bandits. Butcher knives are great for chopping, not so much for cracking open cash registers. A wannabe robber strolls into a store with a butcher knife, thinking he's about to hit the jackpot. He awkwardly tries to pry open the cash register with the knife, but it fails. After a few clumsy attempts, he realizes he's not getting anywhere and decides to run for it. Bike thief. So, this guy on a bike decides to snatch a phone from a group of kids, thinking he's about to make the easiest score ever. But karma isn't having it today. Before he knows it, the cops show up, cutting him off with their car. Garden heist. An old woman sneaks around someone's garden, casually picking chilies like she's at the farmer's market. When suddenly, the homeowner steps outside and catches her red-handed. The old lady tries to make a quick getaway, but it's too late. The homeowner is already onto her. Things take a hilarious turn when the homeowner's dog joins the scene, adding more pressure to the situation. The flustered chili thief has no choice but to hand over the bag of stolen peppers. That wraps up our wild ride through robberies foiled by good Samaritans and sometimes pure stupidity. Which story did you find the most interesting? Or have you had a real-life run-in with a robbery? Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.